There are over 100 million of these things circulating the planet, a milestone Honda officially hit back in 2017. That number is hard to visualize, but put it this way. The Honda Super Cub is the most produced motor vehicle in history, beating the Toyota Corolla and Volkswagen Beetle combined. You can find them hauling families in Vietnam, navigating Tokyo rush hour, or parked outside a London cafe. While most modern vehicles are destined for the scrap heap after 15 years, this machine refuses to quit. It wasn't an accident. It was a specific set of engineering choices made by one man in 1958. To understand how Honda built the most reliable vehicle ever, we have to jump straight into the post-war chaos where this idea was born. The Noodle Boy problem. Post-war Japan was in the middle of a massive rebuild. The roads were absolutely terrible, mostly dirt, gravel, and massive potholes that would swallow a bicycle wheel. People needed cheap transport, but they didn't have the money for cars, and traditional motorcycles were seen as dirty, complicated machines for enthusiasts. So Ichiro Honda and his business partner Takeo Fujisawa looked at this mess and saw a gap. They didn't just want to build a motorcycle, they wanted to build something specific. Fujisawa gave Honda a ridiculous challenge. He wanted a bike a delivery boy could ride one-handed, specifically keeping his left hand free to balance a tray of steaming soba noodles. This requirement forced the invention of the semi-automatic centrifugal clutch. If you've never ridden a Cub, here's the twist. There is no clutch lever on the left handlebar. You just click the gear pedal with your foot, and the bike does the rest. It uses engine speed to engage gears smoothly and disengages when stopped. You can't stall it. This choice did more than save the noodles. It created the foundation of the bike's durability. By removing the manual clutch, Honda removed the biggest cause of mechanical failure: user error. You can't burn out clutch plates or snap the chain by dumping the clutch. By taking control away from the rider, they ensured the machine wouldn't be abused. Then there was the frame. Most bikes in the 50s were built with a high-top tube. You had to swing your leg over it like a cowboy mounting a horse. Honda wanted everyone to ride this, including women in skirts and older folks who couldn't do gymnastics to get on a bike. So they designed the step-through frame using pressed steel rather than standard tubing. It was a huge gamble. Honda had to build a massive factory just to make these stamped steel parts, betting the company's future on a design that looked like nothing else on the road. This wasn't just for accessibility, it was structural. The heavy gauge steel backbone protected the engine and hid all the ugly wires and cables, making the bike look friendly rather than mechanical. It expanded the market from motorcyclists to everyone. But a bulletproof frame means nothing if the engine blows up. And that is where the real magic happened. Engineering immortality inside the engine. If you look closely at the engine of a Super Cub, you'll notice something immediately different from almost every other motorcycle on the road. The cylinder isn't standing up vertically, it's lying flat, pointing toward the front wheel. This wasn't just an aesthetic choice to make the bike look sleek. It was a calculated engineering decision that solved three massive problems at once. First, by laying the engine flat, Honda lowered the center of gravity significantly. This made the bike feel lighter and much easier to balance at slow speeds, which was crucial for those delivery riders navigating crowded markets. Second, it positioned the cylinder head directly in the stream of air coming off the front tire. Air-cooled engines often overheat in stop-and-go traffic because they need movement to stay cool. By pointing the hottest part of the engine directly into the wind, the Cub stays cool even when it's being worked hard at low speeds. But the most critical benefit of this horizontal layout is lubrication. In a vertical engine, oil has to be pumped all the way to the top against gravity to lubricate the valves. If the oil pump is weak or the oil level is low, the top of the engine starves and destroys itself. In the Cub, the oil flows horizontally, and gravity actually helps the oil return to the sump. It ensures that the critical components are bathed in oil even if the bike is low on fluid or tipped over on a steep bank. It's a design that prioritizes survival over performance. Then there is the chain case. On 99% of motorcycles, the drive chain is exposed to the elements. It picks up road grit, sand, water, and mud, which acts like a grinding paste that wears out the metal links. A neglected chain can snap or wear out the sprockets in less than 5,000 miles. Honda looked at the environment these bikes would operate in, muddy, unpaved roads in post-war Japan, and decided to fully enclose the chain in a two-piece metal case. It looks a bit clunky, but it seals the chain in a clean environment. You can pack that case with grease, close it up, and practically forget about it for years. By protecting the drivetrain from the environment, they extended the service life of the chain by 3 or 4 times the industry average. Another fascinating detail is how the engine handles dirt. Most engines use a disposable paper oil filter. If you don't buy a new filter and change it, the filter gets clogged, oil pressure drops, and the engine dies. Honda knew that in rural areas, people might not have access to a dealership to buy filters. So, they designed a centrifugal oil spinner. It's a small metal cup on the end of the crankshaft that spins at engine speed. As the oil circulates, centrifugal force throws heavy particles, metal shavings, dirt, sludge, to the outside walls of the cup, trapping them there while clean oil flows through the center. There is no filter to buy. You just take the cover off once in a while and wipe out the sludge with a rag. It is a filtration system that requires 0 spare parts to function. However, the true secret to the Super Cub's immortality isn't just how it works, but how it fits together. This is where Honda did something that modern manufacturers rarely do. They standardized the mounting points. We call this the Lego effect. The basic architecture of the engine remained so consistent for so long that parts from different decades are often interchangeable. You can take a cylinder head from a 1980s model and bolt it onto a bottom end from the 1960s. You can take a piston from a modern clone engine and fit it into a vintage Honda case. It doesn't rely on a supply chain of new parts. It relies on a massive, global scrapyard of compatible components. Theoretical engineering is nice, but let's look at what happens when people actually try to kill this thing. The abuse test. Stories from the road. The legend of the Super Cub isn't just marketing fluff. It has been proven in ways that would send a modern Ducati straight to the scrapyard. This isn't just TV magic. Dig into forums, and you'll find survival legends of riders buying used Cubs with 30,000 miles and riding another 20,000 without an oil change. Insane considering the engine holds less than a liter. They only stopped because the tires disintegrated. In Southeast Asia, motorcycle taxis carry 3 passengers and cargo 12 hours a day in tropical heat. It is common to see odometers roll over the 100,000-mile mark using whatever cheap oil is available. For context, a modern sport bike often needs a rebuild by 40,000 miles. The Cub just keeps going. The secret is low-stress tuning. Modern engines are squeezed for every ounce of horsepower, pushing components to their limit. The Super Cub is detuned. It produces modest power, ranging from 4.5 horsepower in the original to about 9 horsepower today. This means the piston and bearings never operate near their breaking point. Because the engine is never stressed, like a bodybuilder lifting a 5-pound weight, the components simply don't wear out. The metal is bored, waiting for a challenge that never comes. The Challenger. Super Cub versus NIUNQI. So, if the Super Cub was the ultimate solution for urban mobility in the 20th century, what is its successor today? Enter the NIUNQE. If you look at the specs, this electric scooter is the spiritual heir to the Cub. It's cheap, it has a step-through frame, it's designed for cities, and it's meant to be accessible to everyone. On paper, it should be even more reliable. The electric motor itself has basically one moving part, while a gas engine has hundreds. There are no valves to adjust, no oil to change, and no spark plugs to foul. It seems like the evolution of simplicity. But there is a catch, and it's a big one. The Super Cub's reliability is based on mechanical permanence, while the NIU's lifespan is dictated by chemical decay. The gas tank on a 1960 Super Cub works just as well today as it did 60 years ago. It doesn't degrade. The lithium-ion battery in a modern electric scooter, however, is a ticking clock. Even if you treat it perfectly, the chemistry inside the battery degrades over time. After 3 to 5 years, the range drops. After 7 years, the battery might be useless, and unlike a $15 piston ring for a Cub, a replacement battery often costs half the value of the bike. Then there is the repairability gap. If a Super Cub stops running, you need a 10mm wrench, a screwdriver, and maybe a hammer. You can fix it on the side of the road. If an NIU stops running, it usually throws a digital error code. You can't fix code with a hammer. You need diagnostic software, a laptop, and a proprietary controller that the manufacturer might not even sell to the public. The Super Cub was built to be owned and maintained by the rider forever. Modern electric scooters are built like smartphones. They are incredible pieces of technology designed to be used for a few years and then thrown away when the battery dies or the software becomes obsolete. The NIU wins on convenience today, no doubt. It's quiet and clean. But if you needed a vehicle to survive the apocalypse or just to hand down to your grandkids, the electric scooter doesn't stand a chance against the mechanical cockroach that is the Honda Super Cub. In conclusion, we moved from an era of fix it yourself to replace it when the battery dies, and we lost something important along the way. The Super Cub proves that true reliability comes from mechanical simplicity and parts you can actually touch, not just high-tech materials. That decision to prioritize longevity changed the world. If you enjoyed this look at engineering history, subscribe for more deep dives into the machines that changed the world.